As the president gives himself a 2-week window to decide whether or not the United States will attack Iran, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is warning that Israel's military is going to strike all of the nuclear facilities in Iran, signaling his own forthcoming attacks. He didn't give a timeline for Israel's operation, but he did tell an Israeli broadcaster this, and I'm quoting him now: "We are at war. We will not disclose the timetable. We will achieve all the objectives, strike all the nuclear facilities. We have the power to do it." One of the most deeply sourced journalists in the region is with me tonight, CNN's political and global affairs analyst, Barak Ravid. Barak, are officials in Israel still confident? What are they saying tonight about, whether or not the United States is ultimately going to do this?
Good evening, Caitlin. I think Israeli officials I talk to still think that Trump eventually is going to join this war, especially because they don't believe that there's any diplomatic solution that can be achieved. They don't think that Donald Trump's minimum can meet Ali Khamenei's maximum. And that's why they think that even if it's going to take another few days, maybe 2 weeks that Donald Trump spoke about today, at the end of the day, Donald Trump will end up joining this war to eliminate the Iranian nuclear program.
One question that was asked at the White House today was, what would they do? What would President Trump do if Israel attacks in these next 2 weeks, more so than they're doing now, but if they go after the nuclear facilities? Do you think that's possible? Likely? What's your sense of that?
I think, Israel had a list of targets and a timetable to bomb each one of them. I think right now they're ahead of schedule. From what I hear, the targets that they have will be exhausted in the next few days, including the nuclear program. I think what's left, every day that passes leaves the facility in Fordo as the big thing that is left to destroy. And I think what the U.S. wants to see is how much can Israel get in those few days, or maybe in those 2 weeks that Donald Trump was talking about. And the Israelis, on the other hand, also say, we want to see how much we can do before Donald Trump goes in. So the Israelis have a plan for another few days of bombings. The Trump administration has a plan for another few days of diplomacy. I think it's going to meet, those two timetables are going to meet sometime next week.
All right, Barak Ravid, great reporting. We'll stick with you as we continue to follow this very closely. Also, someone who is here with me tonight that is very familiar with high-stakes decisions, former congressman, White House chief of staff, ambassador to Japan, and current CNN senior political and global affairs commentator, Rahm Emanuel. We always have too many titles to even list out, but can you just walk us through? I mean, you've been in the White House, you've been in the Situation Room. The Situation Room has basically had a meeting every day since Israel first struck about a week ago. I was just telling you that one White House official said there were like 30 generals inside the lobby on Friday. We've seen the Joint Chiefs Chairman every day. We've seen the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. What is it like when you're actually in the Situation Room and you're bringing these options to the president?
Well, I think you're going through a number of options and gradations of those options. If you were in the Situation Room, he'd go around kind of if you do this decision, what is the impact, what is the positive, negative, and you're weighing equities. My view is you have basically a good cop, bad cop situation. If I was there, this is what I would say. Israel's going to do what they're going to do militarily. You should be, here's the table. I'm sending my team. They're on the plane right now. We'll meet you there and we're ready to negotiate. This plane over here is going to take everything Israel needs. Everything they need from an offensive, defensive capability, and that plane over there is going to start practicing the B-2. And I think I would be the good cop, bad cop, and that would be the communication to Iran. You pick, but here's what's happening. These 3 planes are all practicing. One to take the diplomatic corps, the other one to supply Israel the weapons they need, and our third one to practice. And I would make sure, and the reason is because if you do something now, there's no room for diplomacy. And
so in your experience, do you think the 2-week window is actually helpful? I mean, what do you make of it?
I think, look, it's already said, so it's out there. You got to make the most of this time, because if you decide to take a military action, which would be against, and I want to be clear of this, for 80 years, Israel's always said, we will fight our wars. This would be a change in the military ethos and structure for the state of Israel to ask the United States to come and do something. We've never done that, and they never want it. I don't think it's good for either country. So if you get to that point, you have got to show that you've run the diplomatic thread as far and as long till it's no good. And you've got to put that decision on Iraq. Now, the other thing that's important is comparing this moment to 2015. Israel's number one complaint was you left Hamas, Hezbollah, and Syria intact. That's over. There's no octopus. The number two, which has not gotten a lot of reporting, their complaint was you left the missile production in Iran totally intact. And if you look at the bombing that Israel's doing, everybody's focused on the nuclear facilities. The Prime Minister put this out very early in the tweet. They are going after that missile production because without that missile production, the nuclear program, not the nuclear facilities, is dramatically degraded. And Israel has been hitting that missile production constantly and taking it down and degrading it. And that too has its own ability to set back the time frame significantly. And that was their number one complaint about the 2015 agreement.
Well, I mean, and they had a lot of complaints. So you said
Right.
1 and 2. I think if Netanyahu was here, he might say I've got
No,
like
there
50.
was, but even the Israeli security apparatus there was a big portion of it that was for that agreement with the caveats that 1 and 2 were the big
yeah, they wanted those things
deficits.
changed. But so from your view, do you think the United States should strike Fordo? Like what? I mean, what is if you were in that situation room advising the
So
president? what
I
your
would say
advice be?
that, look, I mean, I'll give you a practice we had. You had to give your argument and then what was wrong with it. So I would not break that ethos until Israel has shown all its capacity and run its course, and you've run your diplomatic. You always, they know you have the military option. It is already having an ability where they have said they want to get back to the table. I'd leave that, but put a time frame on the negotiations as well. Now, I'm haunted by two things. Not haunted, but I have a flashing yellow light. In 1994, same room, Situation Room, Bill Clinton was getting basically his security team bombed North Korea. President Carter, having gone there, messed it up and messed up that opportunity, and now you have a nuclear North Korea. The second thing to evaluate here, and I'm saying as you pause and make diplomacy work all the way to the end, and there'll be a time frame on that diplomacy. They've already missed 1 clock, and now I realize it's a cost. But the second thing is Russia has been kicked out of Syria. The rest of the world now sees that when the chips are down, Russia, China, and North Korea are nowhere to be found near Iran. You're on your own. And there is a play here that this axis of resistance has been shown to be literally very thin gruel.
I mean, that's why this is such a huge decision in terms of shaping the Middle East and what that could look like in this moment. Can I ask you though, because before we go, we have talked about this on the show before, you know, what your intentions are, what you're thinking. You've kind of gone there, but you went there a lot further today in terms of you being the person inside the Situation Room and making these decisions. Are you considering actively running for president?
No, I mean, look, if I said no, that would not be true. If I said yes, that would also not be true. Yes, I'm evaluating. I think, look, you got to look at this. You got to be comfortable with understanding the family room. You got to be comfortable understanding literally the classroom, comfortable in the what I would call the boardroom, comfortable in the Situation Room, and periodically comfortable in the emergency room. And my problem is our party's only been good in the locker room and the bathroom. And so you got to be comfortable in all those rooms and understand that. I have been there. I have something I think I can offer, but I haven't made that decision. So if I said I wasn't, it wouldn't be true. If I said I have decided, that also wouldn't be true. I mean, I kind of periodically, once in a while, check my email, make sure my family hasn't hired a lawyer to sue me. So I think about it, and I'm thinking about moments like this and what it takes to lead this country. And I think the biggest thing that I care about is that the American dream is unaffordable, and it is exactly in time that the American dream became unaffordable is when our politics became unstable. And restoring confidence in that is the most important thing a president can do.
Rahm Emanuel, we look forward to you making your final decision and announcement here on The Source. We'll have you back for that.